Welcome to the Arrington Gavin Show. Real talk, big opinions, and fearless conversations. From the front lines of politics to the latest in pop culture. From breaking sports headlines to the stories that move the world. Nothing's off limits, and nobody's holding back. Arrington Gavin is here to break it down, build it up, and keep it all the way real. So turn it up, lean in, and let's get into it. This is the Arrington Gavin Show.
Hey, family. Welcome to another great episode of the Arrington Gavin Show, your go-to spot for sharp insights, bold opinions, and unfiltered takes on the biggest stories of the day, whether it's politics, sports, pop culture, or the latest buzz. Look, we're diving deep and keeping it real. So please do me a favor, kick back, stay informed, and get ready to join the conversation. On today's conversation, I'm thrilled to have Mr. Evan Hess. He is the executive committee member for the North Carolina Forward Party. Now, you know me, I've always been an independent. I've always lined my views in the middle. Reason being is because I just truly don't believe in the two-party system. I'm not the biggest fan of either party. Yet, hey, I'm friends with everybody. I always say that I'm friends with everybody, but I truly do believe that no one on God's green earth should be forced to some or pressured to lean towards a specific side. I mean, we're literally in some states we're stuck with just, all right, right or left. Now I'm in the Commonwealth state. I'm in Virginia. So Virginia, it's most of the time you're either gonna have a D or you're either gonna have a R. Now we've had administrations or especially in certain cities where it's like, okay, it's gonna be Republican nonstop. It doesn't matter. You can ignore the policies that they bring, but they're going to vote for them. Because they're R, or they're going to vote for them because they're D. And we've seen, especially after the recent presidential race, that there's a rising number of independent voters. I mean, or at least voters that are saying, look, we don't want to lean towards the Republican Party, or we don't even want to lean to the Democratic Party. So it's like, okay, is there a party for us? Is there a party for you? And if y'all don't recall, a man by the name of Andrew Yang. Now, I remember Andrew Yang when he was running for president at the time, and I'll be honest, I was a fan. I still let him a fan. Didn't have a quite successful run presidential campaign. He didn't win that, but he then went on to run for, I believe, mayor of New York City, and that didn't came up short on that as well. But then he ended up co-founding the Forward Party alongside former Republican governor of the state of New Jersey, Christine Todd Whitman, really pushing for the partisanship, right? And so what we've seen now, especially under this administration, you have folks, and I've spoken about it here on the show before. You have long-time Republicans saying, I'm out, I'm leaving, I'm out of here. You see the same thing happening on the left. Look, let's not recall. You have folks like what was the former U.S. Senator Joe Manchin out of West Virginia, Democrat for years now. Ever since he retired from office, he left the Democratic Party. He is an independent now. I'm not sure if he is has checked out the Forward Party, but again, the Forward Party is growing. So I'm excited to have on Mr. Evan Hess, because he is a member of the North Carolina Forward Party. Now, I just remember when the Forward Party was still in existence. Now they're in, they're expanding in certain states around the U.S. So again, I'm just thrilled to have him on to talk more about the party, about the party out in the state of North Carolina, which is a massive state, by the way, and even talk about some of the supporters that they have. They have current elected officials and former elected officials that are supporting the party, and we're just going to talk some politics. We're going to have some fun and all that good stuff. So again, I truly appreciate you all for taking the time out of your busy schedule to chime into the Arrington Gavin Show. As you know, we are a growing platform. You can watch us on our YouTube channel. Okay, so for those who are watching us right now on YouTube, do me a favor, give us a thumbs up. It helps with the algorithm. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do. The Arrington Gavin Show YouTube channel. You can subscribe, share with a friend, share with family. We are growing in subscribers each and every day, as well as our views, and we truly appreciate it because you enjoy great conversation, and that's what we want to continue to give to you, great conversation. In addition to watching us on YouTube, you can also check out past episodes of the Arrington Gavin Show on GOATverse TV. That's right, GOATverse TV. It's available. Ways you can check out those past episodes is by downloading the GOATverse TV app. It's available on the App Store, Google Play Store, Roku, as well as Amazon Fire TV. You can also listen to us wherever you get your podcasts, whether that's iHeart, Apple, Spotify, and where else? Oh, and also you can check us out on the radio airwaves. Shout out to our affiliates, first in the New Orleans area, WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about. You can tune into the Arrington Gavin Show weeknights at 7 p.m. Central Time, Monday through Fridays, 7 p.m. Central Time, only on WBOK 1230 AM. And then we're going to head over to the Metro Atlanta area to WDJY 99.1 FM Straight Talk, where you can chime into the conversation weeknights at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and that's again WDJY 99.1 FM. And of course, on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts, we drop new episodes Monday through Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, now that I got that going, look, we're gonna take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we're gonna be joining with we're gonna welcome our special guest, Mr. Evan Hess. So my friends, do not go anywhere, do not change that dial. You are tuning into the Arrington Gavin Show. We'll be right back after these commercial breaks.
Every man has a story to tell. Your ambitions, your achievements, your legacy. Your suit should reflect that story, crafted precisely, designed for impact, and tailored exclusively for you. We work with only the finest fabrics, luxurious wools, silk, linen, and blends from world-renowned mills in Italy, the UK, and India. These fabrics are the foundation of custom suits that exude elegance and stand the test of time. But a suit isn't just about fabric, it's about fit, and it's about confidence, and it all starts with you. When you work with me, you'll receive a personalized consultation, whether in person or over Zoom. Together, we'll explore your vision and discuss your needs, and we're gonna bring your ideas to life. My journey as a designer includes apprenticing under New York-based designer Clavon Leonard, showcasing collections at New York Fashion Week, Algeria Fashion Week, and the prestigious Baltimore Met Gala. That experience is what we bring to every suit we create, from weddings to corporate events and everything in between. We specialize in crafting one-of-a-kind suits for life's most significant moments. Dapper Luke has been recognized as one of Baltimore's best menswear in 2023, and I was honored to be one of the 10 designers selected for the prestigious Baltimore Met Gala. With over 900 satisfied clients, we proudly serve Virginia Beach and Baltimore, bringing world-class designs to these incredible communities. We don't just make suits, we craft confidence. Your suit will fit your body, your style, and it will tell your story. Book your free online personal consultation today. Visit www.dapperluke.com.
What's up, y'all? Welcome now.
And we still in traffic.
Don't look familiar, do I? Not in this seat.
Hey, what's that you listening to?
Here to host today.
Hey, turn it up.
With me?
Yeah, this that new GOATverse app. I got you.
So y'all want to know where the goats are? They're off on the sidelines.
Looking for fresh, relevant content wherever you go?
What was the name of the app he said?
Introducing GOATverse TV.
GOATverse, that's what it's called.
The free streaming app that brings you the best podcasts, current events, and thought-provoking opinions all in one place. Download it now from the Apple Store or Play Store. In GOATs, we trust.
Order your beard care products with Rugged Evolution. We're your local beard care line that supports the maintenance of your full, mature beard. Our line includes conditioning shampoos, moisturizers, balms, oils, shaving lotions, and exfoliating soaps. These products moisturize, hydrate, nourish, and have all the natural ingredients for a healty beard. Log on to our website or download our app to place your orders. Become a man of distinction with Rugged Evolution Beard Care. And remember,
Rugged is the new smooth.
All right, family, welcome back to the show. As I mentioned, I'm honored to have on special guest Evan Hess, who is an executive committee member of the North Carolina Forward Party. Before I bring him on, let me go ahead and share you this clip here, y'all. because again, I want to give you a more of a better preference again of just the forward party. So hold tight as I bring up this clip here. This is from from the co-founder, Mr. Andrew Yang. You probably heard of this guy. I'm going to go ahead and share this clip for you.
5% of the country, including Seattle, is a one-party system. There's one party in charge. And so what we want to do is we want to create more choice and dynamism in Seattle, but also in Missouri or in parts of Texas that feel like it's just the Republicans and nothing else. The two parties don't like to compete. So what they do is they kind of say, here's your turf, here's my turf. And what the Forward Party is saying is like, look, it's all America, and we need to give people real choices at the local level, city council, county executive, all the way up to federal. 75% of the country.
All right, my friend. So that right there was co-founder Andrew Yang speaking more about the Forward Party. Let me go ahead and bring on our guest for the evening, Mr. Evan Hess, who's been waiting so patiently backstage. So again, honored to have him on. Let me go bring him on in. Evan, what's going on with your boss?
Hey, how's it going, Arrington? Thank you for having me today.
Oh man, no, it's an honor to have you on, boss. I truly appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to come here on the program. Look, I will say I'm a fan of the Forward Party. When as I mentioned in the beginning of the show, I was very familiar with Andrew Yang. I thought he was a great candidate. Very, I would say, very intelligent, somebody who can really relate to young people, and somebody who was at the time, because he ran as a Democrat or during the Democratic primaries. I would say more of a centrist than even running as he wasn't far left. He wasn't, too, he was very, very moderate and very centrist. And then, of course, moving forward in his political career, he then, went on to run for other positions. And he said, well, you know what? Look, what I'm noticing is like folks are just tired of the two-party system, and it's the truth. It's very, very accurate. People are tired of choosing between the left and the right. If it's okay, if you don't mind, kind of sharing more. I know I've probably left out some more origin about the Forward Party. Could you share with the audience just some more info that I probably left out about the Forward Party in general?
Sure. So and just for the awareness of the audience, I was originally drawn to the Forward Party because of Andrew Yang. I originally joined it back in about 2023, and I've really haven't looked back since. And it's because not only did Andrew see the vision that we needed to change something with our system, but he's also joined by like-minded and across the aisle Republicans like Christina Todd Whitman, who understand that we need to change something, or we're going to continue swinging these more and more extreme positions from election to election. And without some big seismic shakeup, we're just going to keep barreling towards a greater and greater chaos every election. Christina Todd Whitman was a former governor of New Jersey. When she was joined the Forward Party, it was through a merger with her own Save America movement. And I'll note that we also, for a time, were working with a fellow from the Renew America movement, Miles Taylor, who had actually served in the Trump administration and recognized from the inside that this is clearly a time where we need to reset the board completely, and we're going to do it through the election system.
Wow. It's interesting that because I've shared with the audience, in the beginning stages of when I started this show, which we're getting close to hitting 500 episodes, so it's been a while. But when I was my listeners here, they know that I was raised in a conservative Democratic household, but that still never changed my viewpoints. The older I got, I'm like, it just feels weird having having a R or a D in front of my name, and of course you start learning more about it, and you start noticing, the differences between, you have your local parties, then you have your state parties, then you have your federal part. Like every party is different, right? Every state has a different, the New Jersey Republican Party, the New Jersey Democratic Party is different from, say, the North Carolina Democratic or the Republican Party of North Carolina. So everything is very, very, different in a way. And so seeing the growth throughout the years, and I'm curious, Evan, when I know you were not motivated, but you were interested in in joining the Forward Party through Andrew Yang, being a fan of Andrew Yang. What really, like, when did it change really for you? When did you when was the wake up, like, man, the two party system, man, it's just not working? When did it really hit for you?
For me, I have the same evolution as you did. I grew up in a Democratic household. I grew up voting for Democrats, and I can name on one hand how many Republicans I voted for before 2016 even. But the problem that I'm facing, and the same as you, is that I don't recognize the party that I grew up with. And certainly my own opinions have evolved, and I feel like some of the things that the Democratic Party represent no longer represent me, much in the same way that I feel that for the Republican Party or even for the Libertarian Party. There are good ideas on all sides of the aisle, and we no longer recognize that and no longer find the compromise to see what the other side is seeing and try to find that middle ground. And so, my first moment where I really felt like I didn't belong in the party anymore was actually when I was canvassing back in the 2020 election. I remember going to a fellow's house. He was ready to argue as soon as I got to his door. He knew I was there for a Democrat. He knew he wanted to argue, and he was a very proud Trump supporter. But the thing that stuck with me from that conversation was not that he was ready to rumble when the conversation started, but by the end of it, that he was actually proactively talking to us about what we're trying to do, who the candidate we were supporting, which go figure was Andrew Yang. But the thing that he was ready to combat us about was that we would be angry with him because he voted for Donald Trump. And that wasn't it. We actually listened to what he had to say, and he was so caught off guard by it that we were able to have that conversation and say, hey, you used to vote for Democrats. We're trying to convince you. Why don't you vote for one again? And at that time, that conversation had stuck with me, because every door that I knocked after that, it was like knocking on the door of two different worlds. If you voted for Donald Trump, you were through and through a racist, which, by the way, the fellow was African-American, so I'm not going to tell him that in any sort of way. But then on the flip side of that is, the Democrats have let me down too many times, and I just can't vote for them anymore. And maybe they're not necessarily for Donald Trump, but they just didn't feel like the system represented them. So for us at the NC Forward Party, we're part of the larger movement of the Forward Party for the purpose of trying to recognize the humanity in people on both sides of the aisle. And we're going to do it in a way we think is best. And that's forming a new third political party.
I love that, because that's really something I'm passionate about just here on this show, where I have guests and have conversations with folks. And look, I even consider, folks I consider, friends at the end of the day. I always tell folks, I'm friends with chairs for the Republican parties. I'm friends with chairs for the Democratic Party. Everybody is welcome here. And it's interesting, because we do live in a world where it's like, oh my gosh, how could you have a conversation with that person? How can you be seen with that person? How can you? And I'm like, wait. Again, you said a key word, humanity. And it's like, if we, at the end of the day, I've always said, we might have the same, we want to see the same end results, but we have a different pathway of getting there. But going back to the your moment when you were canvassing, I think it's interesting, because I've heard the same kind of the same stories of folks. They're nervous to mention if they voted for Trump, because they're like saying, oh, I don't want to, I know you guys are gonna dislike me. And in my mind, I'm always like saying, so it's interesting that you feel so scared that you vote for him, because I think deep down, you're not making the right choice. But that's just my bias, because I'm not a fan of the guy too much. But going back to the the North Carolina Forward Party. Now, I know the Forward Party as a whole is close to 4 years old, or maybe close to 5 years old. How long has the North Carolina Forward Party has been in existence?
So our chapter started sometime in late 2022. I myself never got involved and hadn't really considered it until we were getting into midway through 2023.
Okay.
So yeah, we're the North Carolina chapter is about 3 years old, and we are. I can tell you from personal experience where we were 3 years ago and where we are now is a night and day difference. We've really built something from the ground up, and we've done it through just the conviction and power of knowing that we need to do something to change the system.
Wow. I've read some stories and just, by looking on the site I'm currently on, you have some quite well-known figures that are supporters of the North Carolina Forward Party. You actually have a current sitting official in the U.S. House of Representatives, or U.S. Representatives, Don Davis, who is a registered Democrat, but he has embraced the Forward Party. Is the Forward Party, Evan? Is it like who is welcome in a sense? Is there what is is it you welcome independents, Democrats, and Republicans? Is it more so, hey, we might lean more left or right? Like how is it, just for folks that are listening to this conversation saying, hey, look, I really want to, I want to know more about the North Carolina Forward Party.
So we're under no illusion. Starting a new political party is a huge undertaking, and we're going to do it in bits and steps, every inch, every mile along the way. And Don Davis is a great example, somebody who fits within the camp of the Forward Party. He's actually one of the representatives in Congress who's very high on the bipartisan list. He's one of the most bipartisan members of Congress. He is a fellow who has pretty common sense, common ground solutions, who tries to focus on helping his constituents as opposed to helping his party. And the reason that we support him is he's what we call a forward-aligned candidate. And a forward-aligned candidate isn't necessarily somebody who's in the Forward Party, but there's somebody whose convictions, their morals, their belief in our democracy and their positions on policies generally trend towards a more consensus position, that the kind of things that they're voting for is going to fall more in the 70-30 camp than the 50-50 camp. And so Don Davis is one of a handful of candidates that have successfully won elections here in North Carolina, including a few municipal candidates, such as both a city councilwoman named Elvira Santana here in Cabarrus County for Concord, the city of Concord, as well as Steve Morris, who is the mayor for Concord, a Democrat and a Republican, by the way, as well as J.C. Lyle out of Wilmington, who was a forward-aligned candidate in a nonpartisan race. Gotcha. Now, nationally, we've also seen a lot of success for the Forward Party. 4 out of 9 of the Forward candidates that ran as Forwardists nationwide won. 15 out of the 48 candidates that we aligned with throughout the United States, or at least in 6 states of the United States, were successfully elected to office. So we're seeing a tremendous amount of growth in the right way, in the sense that people are recognizing that having candidates who recognize or are part of the middle, part of the centrist, part of trying to work with the other side is a winning message. We and I'll note, because we do endorse candidates, regardless of what party that they're in, we do hope to run our own forward candidates in the future. But until we can get ballot access, we cannot run our own candidates. And until then, we will continue to endorse candidates who we feel represent our own values and who will embrace our mission and our candidate pledge. You mentioned ballot access, but I want to put a pin to that one, because I want a question that came up that I wish I actually would have asked a little earlier. And someone asked me this question. I'm like, well, let me ask Evan this. What is the difference from, say, just an independent party and
the forward party. So for example, like you have candidates, if you'll see in any races, you'll have, okay, Democrats, Republicans, Libertarians, you might have somebody says, hey, running as an independent, and then you would have somebody running in the forward party. What's the difference between, say, the forward party and just, independent, or are they kind of this, same, if you don't mind explaining?
We more or less operate in the same space, and you'll actually know in South Carolina there was an independent party movement that merged with the forward party because we had aligned goals. Same thing happened in Utah, and I believe happened in one other state, but I can't recall that off the top of my head. But the truth is that yes, we are more or less an independent party. But the one thing that we hold, because we don't force our candidates to have any particular policy positions, which would be impossible. Independents in general are like cats; they all have their own opinions and scatter in every direction. But the key principle that we hold to, and we hope our candidates will also either try to support or push in their own local or statewide elections, is instant runoff voting, independent redistricting, i.e. trying to end gerrymandering, and some sort of nonpartisan primary, which is, in North Carolina, either you run as, or you get into the primary system, you either help elect, or you vote for Democrats, or you elect for Republicans. And one of the strengths of the North Carolina system is that we have unaffiliated status, where you can choose to be either in the Democratic or the Republican primary. There are some strengths that could be added to that, but we think that one of the biggest ones is that adding instant runoff elections as well as independent redistricting would help kind of cool off a lot of the sword rattling and the boiling over of politics into our normal lives. Gotcha.
You mentioned ballot access. What are some of the struggles? Because I've heard how that's never easy, really getting ballot access. Now, I guess I have kind of two questions to ask involving that. What states, say like the current status, what has been the most states that the forward party has had ballot access to, and if so, like what are some of the what are the struggles preventing them from expanding to other, or how can they get to other states?
Well, just like a lot of things in this great union, we also have a very independent ways of thinking about how parties get ballot access or how elections are run in state by state. In North Carolina, you need roughly 4% of the electorate in signatures in order to obtain ballot access. And then to retain that ballot access, you have to get either 2% on running a governor candidate in the state, which would be in 2028, or there's a couple other options, but the main one is not only do you have to get the ballot access, but then you have to retain it. So in North Carolina, we need roughly 15,000 signatures in order to get ballot access. And I'd like to announce that we have just recently crossed the 5,000 signature threshold of accepted signatures. So part of that is that we have to have those signatures validated. So even though we need 15,000 signatures, we're going to collect 20,000 to make sure that we match that threshold.
Okay. Now in your mind, right? We have, and I'm trying to word this correctly. That's one thing. Get familiar with me, because I'm always gonna be like kind of slowing down, because I think so ahead before the words come out. So I'm like, hold up, slow it down. We have a large growth of individuals who are just say considering non-affiliate, right? In your mind, what makes the forward party special, right, for those undecided voters that are saying, okay, I'm really looking for just, again, a solution, party in a sense. What as a member of the executive committee, for the North Carolina Forward Party. What makes the Forward Party special?
So I think part of that is our kind of our approach to having a platform.
Mm-hmm.
We have opted that the platform should be dictated through the candidate, and candidates across the state are always going to be people that are passionate about particular issues.
Mm-hmm.
And those people, they run on those issues, and they run to change something that has a big influence or impact in their own lives. And we want to collect those people as the banner of, heterodox views, which, by the way, I mean, most people, whether they're still in the Democratic or the Republican Party, or as most of the unaffiliates will tell you, is that their views don't necessarily align up and down the left side or the right side of the aisle.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're hoping is that we will continue to find candidates who represent a particular set of ideals and a set of policy positions that represent what most people are looking for. Because again, when you look at any issue across the state, 70-30 across the board, you're going to find more people who agree that there is a problem here and ways that we could fix it than not. And our goal is to help, elevate those people who aren't driven by the partisan agendas of going too far to the left or too far to the right, with the intent of building election wins towards a solid third party movement.
Gotcha. With the when does the Forward Party, does the North Carolina Forward Party, do you all pursue to say recruit candidates, or does candidates normally say will come to you? How does that go? And the reason why I ask that is because just using federal politics, for example, or on a federal level, excuse me, not federal politics, but on a federal level, you have individuals, say, like I'll use Pennsylvania Senator Fetterman, John Fetterman, for example. John Fetterman is a registered Democrat. Now, he might not be, well, he's kind of like on an island right now in his own party, because he has more views that is currently might align a little more with the Republican Party. Now, before him, you had Joe Manchin out of West Virginia. In that process, you had Senator out of Arizona. I'm blanking on her name. She ended up leaving the Democratic Party, becoming an independent. Sinema, yes, Kristen Sinema. Thank you. Kristen Sinema, who left the Democratic Party while in office and became an independent. Does moments like that, is that, I'm not gonna say like an opportunity for the Forward Party, but has there been moments where the North Carolina Forward Party has approached candidates, or just say, hey, look, this is our platform, this is what we're pursuing? Has that ever been like some of the strategies? And not trying to give you tell y'all to give all your secrets, but just out of curiosity.
Sure. And I won't speak too much to the cases outside the state, but for us in the state, sorry, getting over a sickness, so I'm dealing with that a little bit still. Within the state, from the beginning, we have mostly pursued candidates that we feel match our values. But this is the first year that we've really had candidates who have come seeking us to help them get elected to office, because they see that we are a winning message, that we represent more people than not, and that we represent people who are prone to compromise and making, building coalitions and helping build a consensus-based approach to any sort of policy decisions. We want to back common sense politicians, and if they're coming to us, all the better. But in the meantime, we do it through outreach in our local communities, by reaching out and having direct conversations with the candidates we want to support. And in my case, it was very easy for me to support the candidates here in Cabarrus County, because I went out there, I did door knocking for them, I put out signs, I did what I could to help them win. And that's really what a lot of these politicians that are or statesmen who are running for office with the intent of changing or bettering their community, is that they need people to be invested in their races. So if people are interested in how they can help kind of cool down the system and build better politics, go out and support candidates who seem like the most reasonable people in your municipal or your local office elections, whether that's for your statewide General Assembly or Congress or whatever they call it, whatever state you're in, or for your local elections. Because despite in North Carolina, a lot of our municipal elections being nonpartisan, there are still very clear guides out there saying you should vote for these candidates because they're who the Democrats support, or you should vote for these Democrats because they're the Republicans.
Oh yeah, I see it. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna add on to what you were saying. I see it here in my home area here out in Virginia. I mean, we same thing. We have the nonpartisan races. Even though we have local parties, we have the local Democratic Party, we have the local Republican Party. But the races are nonpartisan. But again, when it gets to, especially closer to the closer days to election day, I mean, you're going to get a pamphlet with all of the Republican voters on one, all the Democratic voters on one. I mean, it's not voters, all the candidates, all the, Republican endorsed candidates, all the Democratic endorsed candidates. And I'm talking right until your hand almost touches the door to vote. Hey, here's the, pamphlet, because they're not going to have that in front, which, I've always just, I enjoy, because I feel like it's a part of the election culture, but it is quite annoying when you have folks that, and that's where I try to chime in through this show and hopefully build a platform where it can somewhat, educate our listeners when it comes to, again, doing your own research on candidates, because we still live in a, in a society where, where folks are simply just, they ignore the policy and just focus on the party that they're in. And it's like, that's where I feel like the chaos happens, because you do have folks in powerful positions that abuse that and say, okay, look, let's continue to sway people and say it's only this side or that side, and we got to keep it this way, even though maybe deep down they are not truly, a team for their, for their own party. It's just, and that's not everybody, but that, does exist. Evan, look, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, and we're going to continue the conversation. You are listening to the Arrington Gavin Show. I'm joining with Mr. Evan Hess, executive committee member of the North Carolina Forward Party. Y'all do not go anywhere. Do not change that dial. You're listening to the Arrington Gavin Show. We'll be right back after these commercial breaks.
Jazera Learning Institute, LLC, is a hybrid learning center that strives to educate adults and children in all fields. During the day, we offer programs that are focused on developing students from pre-K to 12th grade, which includes tutoring, homeschool co-op, an after-school program, SAT, ACT prep, and many more engaging academic programs. Our adult education programs include workforce trainings, GED prep, life coaching, various seminars, and many more. Our vision is to train and educate in a positive way that will lead to a positive change in the world, one person at a time. For more information, visit us online at JazeranLearningInstitute.com or call us at 757-208-7407.
Let me tell you something that most people get wrong about suits. A suit isn't just about you wearing it. It's how you show the world who you are. It's your handshake before you say a word, your presence when you step into any room. That's why we design statements at Dapper Luke. We don't just make suits. We'll start with the fabrics that tell your story, luxurious wools, silk, linen, and blends sourced from the finest mills in Italy, the UK, and India. Then we'll combine that with your vision, your personality, and your style. Every detail is tailored to you, from the fit to the finish. Whether for your wedding, a gala, the boardroom, we specialize in creating custom suits that are unique, just like the men who wear them. We spent years perfecting this craft, apprenticing under designers in New York and showcasing collections in New York and for Baltimore Fashion Week. None of that matters as much as seeing the look on your face when you try on your custom suit. Over 900 clients have already trusted us to deliver the best custom suits. They trust me to deliver the confidence, We proudly serve Virginia Beach and Baltimore and would be honored to bring your vision to life next. Let's create something unforgettable. Book your free consultation today at www.gapperluke.com.
All right, my friends, welcome back to the Arrington Gavin Show. Again, I'm joining with Mr. Evan Hess, executive committee member of the North Carolina Forward Party. Evan, when it comes to key issues, obviously the economy is, major economy, healthcare, education, safety. How does the Forward Party, North Carolina Forward Party, we can, however you like to approach it. How is their approach solution different than, the Democratic Party or the Republican Party?
So we typically allow our candidates to kind of take their own platform and take their own position.
Okay.
So we do apply what we call our forward formula, where we essentially put guardrails on what we see as policy positions that are borderline unelectable. And that's not to say that candidates can't, dip out into the extremes on one or two issues. But the idea here is that if you want to get elected, you need to take on something that is going to resonate with the majority of people. And part of our forward formula is that we take we take surveys and data-driven analytics to help us dial into what people feel is too extreme for themselves and what would actually kind of fit with what they think would be a good policy solution, whether that's in healthcare or education or in electoral reforms. And if you go to ncforwardparty.com, you'll see some of the research that we've done on that, namely around education. I believe there's a healthcare one that will be coming out soon, and a previous one that we did on electoral reforms.
Okay. When it comes to with those surveys, one of my biggest goals is to continue to encourage young people to continue to get more involved in not really just in politics, but just again having an understanding. I don't know about out in your neck of the woods in Carolina, but I know for here in Virginia, the voting numbers are not really increasing. Voting numbers somewhat shy and get a little lower, and I guess that's just from it could be the frustration that the public has with elected officials, how they are operating things, whether if it's in Washington or on a state level or local level. But voting turnout is always like the hard part. What are some goals or what are ways that the North Carolina Forward Party is using to try and attract young people to get familiar or just to understand their party?
I think the number one thing that we find success, especially with some of the young people that we talk to when we do tabling opportunities, is that they want something that is a little less crazy. And if you're under the age of 25, elections and what you've seen on TV just seems crazy compared to anything I remember when I was growing up. And I think part of what you need to help draw people back into voting, or more importantly, getting the first-time voters to go to the polls, is to show them that there is a better vision for our future than the kind of raucous nature that a lot of politics goes into. And so part of that work, we do work with some student organizations. We have one at NC State and Duke University. And I'll even note that we, in early February, will be having a networking event for students at university who want to get into politics. And we'll have a few people there who are deep in the political industry, who know the ins and outs, and can kind of talk about their experiences and what they what they've seen as political operators, and how you could get involved and be involved. In regards to getting more voters, under the age of 25 or under the age of 30 to really vote, I think part of that is we need to have more candidates on the ballot, more people on the ballot who represent a push towards a better future without drawing from the extremes on either side, without pushing for the dehumanization on either side of the aisle. because that, frankly, it turns off a lot of voters up, from 18 to 55. It's not just young voters who are turned off by that. It's everyone.
Yeah, no, I can agree with you more on that one, because I'm always, I always get frustrated when I do hear folks, say, complain what they see happening, like just in their local or just in the nation. And as corny as it sounds, I've always said, hey, look, elections has consequences, right? You have to, your vote is your voice. That is a big, like that means something. To say that I'm just not going to vote, period. It's like, okay, that's a winning. That's what the opposing side or whatever they want you to do. That they don't want you. They don't want your vote, right? They want you to continue to stay put as they continue to, I guess cause havoc in a sense. I mean, we've seen in these past 4 years, you can say, in the past 8 years, maybe, we've seen, or even longer than that, the more I think about it, we've seen so much, not even just division, but we're in a climate now where it's just it's insane. I mean, I guess it's easier to say it. Obviously, we've all seen what has been what's been happening on the news, what happened in Minneapolis, and that's really not helping the case at all. We have an administration, and I'm biased. I am not a fan of this administration that we're currently that is currently led in Washington. I don't think they're helping the cases at all, or helping to unite the nation. And we see it time and time again when we see so many folks who are either sitting officials that saying, hey, look, I'm retiring a little early. Like we spoke about Marjorie Taylor Greene on this show. Like, no one would have thought she would have left, early. She just finished her term on January 6th. She left Congress. And then we have individuals that have been, Republicans for years that's saying, hey, look, I'm going to run as a Democrat now, or I'm just going to run I'm a Democrat for years, and now I'm going to run as a Republican. I mean, it's just interesting how the climate is what I'm kind of going with. It's very interesting how the climate is going. For the Forward Party, for folks that are, I would say, interested in possibly building one in their local areas, because now the North Carolina Forward Party is for the state of North Carolina. It's not for a city. But now does the Forward Party, they have like affiliates in each city in the state of North Carolina?
Our goal is to have an affiliate in every city here in North Carolina, but we're still short on that. If anyone's living in Nashville is listening to this, please reach out to me ASAP. But we are seeing a lot of buildup in not only some of the bigger cities like Raleigh and Wilmington, Charlotte, but in smaller cities throughout the state. We have a presence outside of Fayetteville. We have a presence in Goldsboro and in cities in eastern North Carolina that are a lot smaller than any of the places that we reside in. And they all have people who are just as fed up with the system as usual as we are. And part of the problem, as you were, listing off all the issues that we're facing across the nation, part of the issue there is that our politics has become so nationalized that a lot of the local issues that don't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican are suddenly caught up in the debates that happen at the national stage. Yes. And, a former mayor here in Cabarrus County tells me politics doesn't matter if you can't fill the potholes or take out the trash or deal with any of the myriad of issues that people expect from their local governments. And we need to refocus our conversations back at the appropriate levels. Mm-hmm. In North Carolina, we're focused on just helping people in municipal and in the statewide elections, primarily to get elected, because those areas are most in need of people focusing on the issues that actually matter in your local community, as opposed to what has taken hold on our national politics.
Yeah, no, I could agree with you more on that one. I've shared on the show many times where issues that happen on a federal level it's a trickle down effect. It trickles down on state, trickles down on local. You have some folks that will use the the strategy, what they see on a federal level that's running for a local race that is in, sometimes a turnoff to most, but it might be a winning strategy, in general. The city that I live here in Virginia, or Chesapeake, Virginia, it is, I would say, it's more of a red city in my opinion. I've had conversations with the Democratic chair who bakes a different. We've kind of had the back and forth on it because I'm like, I don't know the way the voting look, but the strategies that they use has always been strategies that they might see on a federal level, whoever's in leadership, whether it's on a state level or a federal level. But again, going back to the importance of, and just really the timing is right for the Forward Party. I'm not a member of the Forward Party, but again, I am very have been checking it out, and I am a fan of the Forward Party because if I'm not mistaken, when Andrew Yang's, at least when I first saw it on TV and he spoke about the Forward Party, this might have been during the either mid season of the, it's just 4 years old, because I'm trying to remember exactly when it started to occur. Anywho, it's interesting because I think it's just perfect timing. We've seen time and time again. I know I've kind of sound like a broken record because I'm repeating myself here, but large numbers of non-affiliate people that say they're non-affiliate. I believe it was like 64% that said, hey, look, I'm, consider myself independent, but it's hard when it comes to election day. Those same independents will still choose either left or right. And that's what I'm, mean perfect timing for the Forward Party having that as an option, because I think this last presidential race we've had, there were a lot of third party candidates that were, quite popular. I mean, you had, RFK was, I think, had the highest percentage numbers as an independent candidate. You had Cornel West, who changed like two parties as a third party. He went from the People's Party to the Green Party to the Independent Party. Then you, of course, had there was another Green Party candidate that I'm blanking, but she was like a repeat candidate, maybe third or fourth time and then you also had a Libertarian candidate as well. So you had a large number of independent or third party voters. I guess, and this is kind of like the business side of me, and I know we're kind of getting close to our end of the conversation, but on a business standpoint, well, I guess this is more for the co-founders, but I still wouldn't mind asking you, do you think it's kind of will be, I don't know, a gamble to create an additional third party when you do have so many third party options in a, for you represent the North Carolina Forward Party, but there's so many, you have the Libertarian Party, you have the Green Party, the People's Party. You do have a lot of independent, third parties. Now you have the additional with the Forward Party, and is that a hurdle or obstacle that the North Carolina Forward Party and the Forward Party in general is always going to be kind of competing with, in addition to the the very large Democratic Party and Republican parties?
Right. Yeah. And look, I mean, from the get-go, we knew this was going to be a giant gamble to see if we could make a successful third party.
Mm-hmm.
What I would say is the difference between us and the Green Party or the Libertarian Party is that we're not necessarily captured by a set of ideals. We're captured by the idea that we can make our politics better. And we think that by following a more centrist message, by following a more a message around building coalitions, around building consensus, that we can help build the kind of coalition of voters that want something different. And as you said, we all recognize that something needs to change. And our goal as the Forward Party isn't just to make our party competitive, especially with the kind of electoral reforms that we're aiming for, but we shouldn't be the end point. We need a fourth and a fifth and a sixth competitive political party to help round out a system that is being driven insane by a two-party system. And the best way to start that is with a third party with competitive ideals. And we believe that we can do this by just following these core principles that we laid out and building the kind of platform that we need in order to attract more candidates to our cause and to, attract more voters to our cause. And if you go out and you talk to every other person out there, they'll all tell you the same thing. They're tired of how things are and they want something different. And hey, we're here. North Carolina Forward Party is ready to rumble. We're ready to take on both the Democrats and the Republicans and whatever stronghold they've set up for themselves. We plan on competing where they feel the safest, because the only way we're going to change the system is if we shake up where they have built their own little forts and systems against what most Americans want, most North Carolinians want.
Well, look, that well said, sir. I just posted, for those who are watching, I put up the website of the North Carolina Forward Party. But as I have Evan Hess, Mr. Evan Hess here, who is a committee member of the North Carolina Forward Party. Evan, what are ways that folks who are listening, because we have listeners in the North Carolina area, how can they continue to follow, know more about the Forward Party in North Carolina? I believe you mentioned an event that you have coming up. Do you guys have monthly or every quarterly meetings for kind of welcome meetings if people are, or not welcome but interest meetings if folks are interested in joining?
Yeah, so if you go to www.ncforwardparty.com, you can find under our Get Involved tab, you can find events that we hold throughout the state that we try to hold on at least a monthly basis. You'll also find details for some big events that we're trying to put together for both in Charlotte and in the Raleigh area. And then finally, if you want to follow us on any of our social media, Forward Party NC at Forward Party NC, and you'll find most of our social media: Instagram, Facebook, X, Blue Sky. We're on all of them, and we would appreciate it if you'd give us a follow and subscribe.
Well, Evan, look, my friend, do not be a stranger. I truly appreciate the conversation. I was looking forward to this because I was, again, I've heard so much about the Forward Party and just, seeing the growth of the party. And I know it's not easy trying to grow a whole new party. It's not easy at all. So again, excited to, glad to have you on. And thank you so much for being here for the conversation. Don't be a stranger. We'd love to have you on again. And talk some more things, moving forward, no pun intended, but moving forward.
There's no escaping that for us. And I appreciate you having me on, and I look forward to coming back.
Awesome.
So easy to do.
Look, awesome, Evan. Look, if you don't mind, I would like to chop it up with you just for a couple seconds after this program. So definitely I'll have you head on backstage. But again, ladies and gents, Mr. Evan Hess, executive committee member of the North Carolina Forward Party. Again, we truly appreciate him for being on. And I hope y'all enjoyed this conversation, man. Again, there's so much to know when it comes to not just the Forward Party, but again, finding a solution, man. Finding a solution. We see what's happening right now in our political climate, and people are pissed. Excuse my French, but they're frustrated. And so just looking for a solution, something that is can kind of bring more unity, because I'm a big proponent of bipartisanship as well. And I see that in the Forward Party. So hope y'all enjoyed this conversation. Again, y'all heard how you can chime in and know more about the Forward Party. Website is ncforwardparty.com. That is the information for the North Carolina Forward Party. So if you happen to be in the state of North Carolina, that is information on that. But you can also look up more info on the Forward Party. So my friends, as always, thank you for sticking with us for another great conversation here on the Arrington Gavin Show. Be sure to check out new episodes Monday through Fridays, weeknights, available on all digital and streaming platforms. Peace and blessings. Stay informed. Take care. I will talk to y'all soon. I'm out.
That's it for tonight on the Arrington Gavin Show. Thanks for tapping in and keeping the conversation alive. Don't forget, stay connected with us on all platforms. Follow at Arrington Gavin on Instagram, Blue Sky, and X, and subscribe to the official Substack for exclusive takes and deep dives you won't get anywhere else. We're here every weeknight, same time, same energy, same real talk. Until next time, stay bold, stay sharp, and stay true. That's what we do on the Arrington Gavin Show. Peace.